Episode 7. The Subconscious Mind. As Debbie and Flora hugged each other, there was a strange beep on the vital sign monitor. The sound was from Alex, and it beeped once. Both Debbie and Flora looked at the monitor, and they were surprised that there was some brain activity going on. After all these days, Debbie rushed near Alex's bed, and she touched his hands, and kept praying to God.
Please, God, help me. Please wake him up. Alex, can you hear me? Alex, I'm Debbie. I'm your girlfriend. Can you hear me? I love you, Alex. Please wake up. I need you. I can't do this alone. Why is this so hard?
As she was crying, and her head bowed down, a drop of tear fell into Alex's hand, and then suddenly another beep sound appeared from the vital sign monitors. Flora quickly went outside the room, and asked one of the guards to call Sophie and Kendall.
Call Sophie and Kendall immediately. There is something happening to Alex.
Yes, ma'am, replied one of the guards from the demon sect, who was guarding room 1. Here Sophie and Kendall were discussing about the times when their clinic became the popular spot for all patients few months ago, when their medicines and treatment were going sky high.
I wished Alex never went in search of that flower into that valley. He had so much potential and was doing so well with the clinic, and all the patients loved him so much. And most importantly, our clinic was at the top of treatment in the city.
Sophie sighed with a grief in her voice.
Yes, I too wished Alex didn't go to the valley. He had so many people looking forward to work with him. So many of them wanted to learn from him. People of his age would have never leave behind the money and authority. But you know Alex, he always wanted to do more, and that cost him this. This is worse than death, because you're alive yet you're dead for others. Alex did not deserve this. He was kind and he helped me from my illness despite our past terms,
replied Kendall. As both of them were discussing this in the common room, a guard approached them and said, "Miss, your presence is needed in room number 1. There is something wrong with Alex."
What is wrong with Alex? What happened?
asked Sophie to the guard. "I don't know. I was told to call you both, so I ran here in search of you too," replied the guard.
Okay, let's hurry up then,
Kendall said to both of them. Kendall and Sophie then rushed to the room where Alex was being treated. They ran and opened the door where Flora was waiting for them, and when they entered, she said to Sophie,
There is some beep sound coming from this monitor.
As she said this, she pointed towards the monitor.
We didn't know what to do, so I asked the guard to call you.
Flora said to Sophie.
That is a good sign for us. It means that his brain is functioning, because he has reacted to some involuntary stimuli,
said Sophie.
But what does that mean?
Asked Debbie to Sophie.
That means he can feel your touch, or he heard your words, or maybe both. He is reacting to his environment, which means he is regaining his reflexes. It's not uncommon for people in comas to show some brain activity. Comas are a state of prolonged unconsciousness, in which a person is unable to respond to their environment or to perform voluntary actions. While a person in a coma may show some brain activity, they are not able to interact with their surroundings, and may not be aware of what is happening around them. But Alex have now reacted to his surrounding, which means he is regaining his consciousness,
explained Sophie to Debbie, Flora and Kendall.
So, does that mean he will wake up any moment now?
Asked Debbie to Sophie with a glimpse of hope.
Yes and no. Although he may be regaining his consciousness, but that does not mean that he has fully recovered from this state. He will wake up, but I can't confirm when. But we know he will wake up sooner than we thought,
replied Sophie to Debbie.
So, that is a good sign, isn't it?
Asked Kendall to Sophie.
Yes, it is. Also, I forgot to mention that one of the top neurosurgeons, Mr. Bartolome Oliver, will be arriving soon. He has landed on the state today, and he may be arriving tomorrow to the clinic,
replied Sophie. As Kendall, Flora and Debbie heard this, they were excited, and mostly Debbie. She almost jumped from her seat and wanted to hug Sophie, but she controlled her emotions. She thought,
let's not be too excited as of now. I'll wait for the doctor to arrive, and then I'll be hoping he wakes Alex up.
The report about something happening to Alex went to Sawyer from one of the guards, and he rushed to room 1. As he entered the room, he asked, "What happened?" The guard told me something was wrong with Alex. I came running to the room. "Is he all right?" asked Sawyer impatiently to them.
Yes, he is all right and nothing is wrong with Alex,
replied Sophie.
In fact, he is showing signs of regaining his consciousness, said
Sophie. What, is he awake? asked Sawyer.
No, as of now he isn't, but he will soon be awake,
replied Sophie. Okay, that is in fact good news. I'm sure Marianne and others will also be happy to hear this. I'll call her and inform her. Although Sawyer was at security room, he had a keen eye and he already saw Marianne and others leave the building in one of the CCTV. So he knew they weren't in the clinic. Sawyer called Marianne. Marianne, you need to come to the hospital. Alex is regaining his consciousness.
What? But how? When?
These were 3 questions Marianne asked to Sawyer. Well, as per Sophie, he may have reacted to his environment involuntarily due to some external reaction, or maybe he felt or heard some of the stories you all were discussing, and reacted to it. Please come fast and we will talk here, said Sawyer.
Of course, Uncle Sawyer. I'll be there as soon as possible,
Replied Marianne.
I just got a call from Uncle Sawyer, and he informed me that Alex is regaining his consciousness.
Said Marianne to the group. Well, that is good news. We need to get to the clinic as soon as possible, said Dawn. Yes, let's get there, said David. In the meantime, the server also bought the order that Lindsay ordered for Debbie, Sophie, Kendall, and Mrs. Ambrose. Ma'am, here are your orders. We packed your foods as you wanted, said the server to Lindsay.
Thank you. Where should I pay the bill?
Asked Lindsay to the server. The server did not know what to say, so he pointed to the counter. As Lindsay went near the counter, she asked the concierge,
Can we have the dining bill?
Sorry, ma'am, but your stay and food are already prepaid, and we have given information by our manager not to charge anything from any of you, said the concierge.
Wow, that is great. Mrs. Ambrose is really generous,
said Rose. Rose was really surprised that Mrs. Ambrose had this much power and authority. Okay, let's get going then, said Dawn. He was really happy about the news of Alex, and he wanted to see and hear about what actually happened. The limousine arrived for their pickup, and all of them got in the limo. Here, Debbie, Sophie, Kendall, Sawyer, and Flora were discussing about what to do next so that they can help Alex recover quickly. In the midst of all this, Alex was actually dreaming, and he had been stuck in the dreams for some time now. It's not uncommon for people in comas to have dreams or even experience periods of semi-consciousness. These experiences can be quite vivid and real to the person in the coma, and they may even be able to recall them later on. It's also possible for people in comas to have hallucinations or experience a sense of detachment from their surroundings. It's important to note that the experiences of people in comas can vary widely, and it's not possible to accurately predict what a person in a coma might be experiencing. So, Alex was in a dream. Alex woke up and saw an aftermath of the bomb. He experienced that there is no sign of living and there were only burnt buildings and trees. It was like the whole place and the city had been through an atomic bomb. He dreamt he is in an aftermath of an atomic bomb. All the buildings and trees were burnt and no sign of human or any living. He wandered from place to place and still no sign of anybody. It's natural to have unsettling or disturbing dreams from time to time. Dreams can often be influenced by our thoughts, feelings, and experiences, but they can also be influenced by other factors such as stress, medications, and physical or emotional issues. This was a dream from his experience of the bomb that he experienced on the valley. He was shocked to see that he was the only one that survived this incident. He didn't remember what happened. Where am I? What is this place? Why is nobody here and what happened here? He kept walking through the burnt buildings and areas but no sign of any living. As he further kept walking, he heard a faint voice from somewhere, and it said,
Alex, can you hear me? Alex, I'm Debbie. I'm your girlfriend. Can you hear me? I love you, Alex.
Who is this? Who are you? Is that you, Debbie? Why does this name sound familiar? Who are you? Where is this voice coming from? Somebody help me. Debbie, where are you? What happened here? Why do I know that voice? What is happening to me? As he was questioning this, the clouds got darker and darker. It felt like evening with thunderstorm and lightning. There were some lights from the burnt houses here and there, but no other source of light. Finally, it started raining and Alex now felt shivers from the cold water and mild wind. This was the moment when in the real world, there was beep sound on the monitor. Alex took shelter in one of the burnt houses with a leaky roof. Alex was in a difficult situation. The rain can be cold and uncomfortable, and it can be difficult to find shelter in a broken house with a leaky roof. It was also important for Alex to try to stay warm and dry in these conditions, as getting wet and cold can lead to hypothermia, which can be dangerous. Alex knew the term hypothermia, but he didn't know how he knew that term. In his head, what happened to me? I don't remember how I got here. I don't remember how I know the term hypothermia in my head, but I have no recall of how I know that word. But I'm too tired for now. I need to take some rest and hope I can wake up when it stops raining. Alex was feeling weak, but he didn't know why. He was weak. In reality, his inner power has been drained when he took that blow and used it against the bomb at the valley. So, his brain was signaling him to take rest. Even when he was dreaming, Alex was cold, but his only light was a burnt pile of woods under the broken house, which kept him some warmth. And he then lay down near it to finally take some rest. He thought to himself, I hope I remember you, Debbie. I know you are someone important to me, but my memories can't recall why you are important. Where are you, Debbie? Please God, show me some signs. By saying these to himself, he went to close his eyes, trying to regain his strength and take some rest. The story ends with everyone arriving back to the clinic and discussing what else they could do help Alex from his state.